SK hynix recently announced plans to construct an advanced memory packaging facility in West Lafayette, Indiana. Now, this thing is valued at $3.87 billion, and it's the first packaging facility in the United States for the memory giant. It's expected to be up and running by 2028. In a different story, Samsung is set to receive their own CHIPS Act funding, supporting advanced chip manufacturing deep in the heart of Texas. There's up to $6.4 billion in funding available here, not through loans, but through tax credits, according to a Bloomberg article. This does match TSMC, but it trails behind Intel in government manufacturing support. Stephen, this sounds like the US really is putting its money where its mouth is when it comes to helping these chip manufacturing giants build facilities here in the US. How do you feel about what SK Hynix is doing as well as what Samsung is looking to do?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big move. Now, if you've been following the rundown, you know that I've been talking about the CHIPS Act for a long time. You know that I've been talking about the manufacturing capabilities of companies like Intel and TSMC and Samsung in the United States. And you know that I've been on about packaging. Because the problem is, if you've got a big fab and you're turning out, etching these wafers and, that's not good enough. You need to be able to take those wafers and package them into functional chips. And right now, that means shipping those wafers back to Taiwan, back to South Korea or Japan or even China for packaging. Well, that's not really achieving the goals of independence in chip manufacturing, is it? So it's really nice to see that companies are investing in packaging as well. We talked about that with Intel. They are looking at building a packaging facility here in the US. It sounds like Samsung is going to be doing that as well in association with their investment in Indiana. And yes, SK is going to build a dedicated packaging facility here in Indiana to take high bandwidth memory chips and package them and get them ready for production. Now, this is important because, as I said, packaging is one of the key components of chip making, but also packaging HBM is a really interesting angle too. Hynix is leading in the production of HBM. They seem to have been selected by most of the next generation products out there, including NVIDIA. Um, but yet they're having trouble meeting demand, not just because of production, but because of packaging. To such an extent that we're hearing that NVIDIA may be working with Samsung to package Hynix HBM modules in order to ship next generation NVIDIA stuff, which is kind of mind bending because Samsung makes HBM too, but they weren't selected. So it's all kind of wrapped up together. The bottom line is that the US needs to have advanced chip packaging, not just advanced chip manufacturing in the United States if they want to achieve any kind of balance and if they want to reduce reliance on places like Taiwan where these things are currently done. If this goes much further, I think that we might actually get to a point in a few more years where next generation products can be maybe not 100%, but pretty close to 100% manufactured in the United States. And I think that that will achieve the goals that the administration set out when they proposed the CHIPS Act funding years ago. So overall, I would say that this is a really great move. It follows on to a lot of the stories that we've been covering here on the rundown, as well as if you pay attention to the 6.5, you'll hear Daniel Newman talking about these things a lot. You'll hear Dave Nicholson and Corey Johnson talking about these things. This is big, and it represents a real strategic shift in terms of onshoring chip manufacturing.